first question I would like to ask. How did the Industrial Revolution start in Britain? The Industrial Revolution started in Britain from the proceeds that the enslavers of my ancestors were making. Billions my ancestors were making by the tears, blood, sweat, and lives of my ancestors in the Americas. They worked and worked unpaid for centuries, financed the Industrial Revolution. Without the hard work of my ancestors, there would have been no Industrial Revolution in Europe at the time that day took place. Not only that, the stereotype about the promiscuity of black people did not come from black people. It came from whites. They believed that a black man had to be very black, very big. He had no brain. All he was good for is breeding the slaves, and they used him for that purpose. While that was happening, believe it or not, the slave masters felt that one of the best things that could ever happen to them was to have sex with a black woman. He saw the black woman as a sex object, and he exploited that. The white women, his women, also exploited that. They saw the big black slave as a good stud. They're the ones who introduced that. I think if we do our homework, we would also see that a lot of the young slaves were either put into prostitution on the plantations, and a lot of the male young slaves were put into homosexuality. So these are things that occurred on the plantation. These are things that were introduced. We must also remember that when my ancestors arrived in the Americas, they had a very strict culture, a very strict system. A lot of things were tabooed. So I would say that no one can call black people lazy. I think black people now realize that they have made such a wonderful contribution and they've worked so hard for little or nothing that they probably feel now that it is time that we take a break. But I'm saying that we can't afford to take a break because we now have to work harder to build for ourselves. We now have to work harder to make sure that what has happened in the past never happen again. So I would encourage my people to work hard, to work even harder than their ancestors have worked.
I'm not sure that everybody clearly understands that less than 3% of the population of Barbados is actually white, and that a number of those are expatriates, so that the white Barbadian like me is not a common sight within Barbados. You can grow up in Barbados as a black person and never interact with a white person, but you cannot grow up as a white person and never interact with blacks. And this feeds into the stereotypes that we have. In discussion with somebody, the person said to me, but you are different from other white people. And I said, but wait a minute, you told me you don't know any other white people. So how could I be different from other white people and you don't know any other white people? I was simply pointing out I was different from the stereotype that had been formed in this individual's mind, the preconceived ideas. But having gotten to know me, then we got past the stereotypes and we got past the preconceptions. And perhaps there needs to be a greater interaction between the races in order to break through some of those stereotypes that we have developed mentally and get down to the reality of who we are, rather than our perceptions of people somewhere off in some sector of the society.
But I think that my job is to do what God's called me to do, and to love the differences and love the uniquenesses. I just said that there's beauty in diversity, and so I don't want to say that there's no color, because it's something that God's given us and blessed us with and has made our people beautiful.
I don't think that we are that bad in Barbados at this point in terms of living fairly well together, but I'm sure it could be much better.
As long as they're not prepared to acknowledge the wrongs that they have done. As long as they are not prepared to share the world's wealth with those who have got nothing, I can't see how there could be racial harmony. And I really do not want racial harmony on their terms. If you want me to harmonize with you, then you have to give me something to feel harmonious about. And that is not the situation at this moment. It is one-sided in Barbados. So when we have a situation where 92% of the Barbadian population controlling and owning 92% of the wealth of Barbados, then and only then I would say that we have racial harmony.
I just want to thank you for watching today and encourage you to go out and see Vigilante The Crossing. And if you're interested in purchasing any of the other quality productions by Step by Step, please visit us on our website, www.thevigilantethecrossing.com. And we also have a Facebook page. Thank you again.